Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Medical expert applauds psychiatrist's strategy in an otherwise ridiculous Chicago med case. A medical expert weighs in on the accuracy of a particularly ridiculous Chicago med case and actually applauds the strategy a psychiatrist used to ultimately save an uncooperative patient. Chicago Med is the third installment in the One Chicago franchise and follows the emergency department team at the fictional hospital Gaffney Chicago Medical Center. Like most medical dramas on TV, Chicago Med is a blend of fact and fiction. It tries to include realistic medical terms, practices, and cases, but takes creative liberties for drama and entertainment. However, one particularly outlandish episode got partial approval from an expert. On his YouTube channel, Dr. Mike Varshavsky reacted to Chicago Med Season 5, Episode 8, Too Close to the Sun, and weighed in on its accuracy. In the segment, which starts at 7 o'clock, Dr. Mike watches the case of a young man with appendicitis, who refuses surgery because his social media followers dictate what he does. Dr. Mike makes several interesting points about the case's accuracy. While he explains that filming in a hospital is highly illegal and would not have been allowed, he did praise the psychiatrist's strategy to prove the patient wasn't of a sound mind to deny surgery. It's a little difficult to determine Chicago Med's accuracy because different individuals have different perspectives. According to those working on the show, it is one of the most accurate medical dramas out there. The show utilizes the input of executive medical advisor Dr. Andrew Dennis, who is a medical professional in real life. According to Dennis, Chicago Med is 85% accurate. The creators and writers have claimed that Chicago Med pulls from published medical cases for its inspiration. Though it does dramatize them significantly, it has also boasted appearances from an actual neurosurgeon, Dr. Orrin Gottfried, who also makes suggestions and emphasizes depicting medical protocol accurately. However, even those working on Chicago Med admit that to capitalize on drama, these medical shows usually depict cases with very unlikely complications, sometimes making it seem as if extraordinarily rare or extreme cases are the norm. Meanwhile, Dr. Mike has slammed Chicago Med before for being unrealistic. In particular, he was appalled by one episode that saw a surgeon performing heart surgery on a panda. He called out the show for making things up, as there's no way a human surgeon would know how to operate on a panda or would operate on a panda in a hospital with human patients waiting for treatment. Hence, while Chicago Med might be more accurate than some medical dramas out there are both minor and major dramatizations that may sometimes pop up and detract from accuracy. The latest episode of Chicago Med had fans rolling their eyes harder than a med student on their third overnight shift, until a surprising plot twist brought unexpected applause from an unlikely corner of the medical world. The case? A man claimed to be allergic to gravity. Yes, you read that right, gravity. Dr. Ethan Choi, recently back from his sabbatical and somehow more serious than ever, was front and center when the patient, a 38-year-old yoga instructor named Sky, was wheeled in, flailing dramatically and insisting that his body was rejecting the Earth's gravitational pull. He wore a silver bodysuit, floated into triage on a wheeled hoverboard, and told the nurse, "If you strap me down, I will literally implode." It was one of Chicago Med's most bizarre medical mysteries, and even the camera crew seemed to pan extra slowly over the expressions of disbelief from the staff. Viewers online dubbed it the anti-physics episode. Enter Dr. Charles, the ever-steady psychiatrist, whose demeanor always lands somewhere between Zen monk and weary grandpa. While most of the team was busy trying to determine if Sky had a rare neurological condition or was simply seeking attention or drugs, Dr. Charles asked the one question no one else bothered to pose. "What does gravity mean to you?" Sky blinked. "It means being pulled down. All the time. Just dragged." That was the moment the episode subtly shifted gears, and it didn't go unnoticed. Dr. Tara Misselhaney, a real-life medical ethicist and contributor to Medical Mythbusters Monthly, posted a rare compliment on social media after the episode aired. This episode was a circus until Dr. Charles stepped in. His approach, listening with curiosity, not contempt, transformed a ridiculous case into a surprisingly insightful psychological exploration. That's psychiatry at its finest. McElhenney later expanded on her comment in a blog post that's now trending among medical TV fan groups and real hospital staff alike. While the condition may not exist in any DSM volume, the underlying metaphor of Sky's delusion was crystal clear. He was crushed, not by gravity, but by invisible emotional weight. That's a valid psychiatric crisis, even if it's wrapped in science fiction lingo. Dr. Charles, portrayed by the brilliant Oliver Platt, remained grounded, no pun intended, throughout Sky's scenes. Instead of dismissing the man as delusional or faking it, he drew a line between metaphor and madness. In a key therapy session, conducted mid-air of course, in one of the hospital's physical therapy harness rigs, Charles gently unearthed that Sky had recently lost his partner in a mountain climbing accident. Since then, he developed somatic symptoms linked to his survivor's guilt, with the belief that being on the ground was a betrayal. Sometimes, Charles told him softly, the brain finds a poetic way to scream for help. It's our job to hear the poetry, not just the scream. In a show that often plays fast and loose with medical realism, a patient once woke up mid-open heart surgery. This scene stood out for its emotional authenticity. Fans on Reddit or /medical dramas called it the most compelling therapy moment since the Hannibal reboot, while others joked that Dr. Charles deserves his own spin-off, where he just sips tea and solves people like puzzles. Of course, the rest of the episode still had its share of eye rolls. Dr. Crockett Marcel performed an emergency spleen transplant using a donor organ flown in by drone that somehow got stuck in traffic. Nurse Maggie punched a vending machine in frustration, only for it to dispense 10 granola bars and a diamond ring, which turned out to be an engagement plan gone awry for a different patient. Still, even skeptics admitted that the emotional resonance of Sky's storyline anchored the episode in unexpected depth. McElhenney, in a follow-up interview with Inside Med TV Weekly, explained why the scene mattered so much. Medical dramas love a good mystery, but often they default to physical puzzles, forgetting that the mind can present with symptoms just as bizarre and life-threatening. By validating Sky's internal world, rather than pathologizing it outright, Dr. Charles reminded viewers, and perhaps even the medical staff watching, that reality isn't always as linear as a CT scan. She concluded with a cheeky remark: it was utterly absurd, and yet, somehow, it worked. That's the magic of psychiatry done right. As for Sky, by the end of the episode he wasn't cured, but he was calmer. He agreed to inpatient therapy and even took a few tentative steps down the hallway, gravity and all. It's heavy, he whispered to Dr. Charles, but maybe I don't have to carry it alone. Platt's expression said more than any monologue could, and just like that, the viewers who tuned in for chaos were left with catharsis. So while Chicago Med might continue its tradition of pushing the limits of medical credibility, next week's teaser includes a baby born with a full set of teeth and an MBA. This particular case offered a rare, profound glimpse into the show's potential when it lets character-driven storytelling lead the charge. And maybe, just maybe, it's okay to suspend our disbelief if, in doing so, we uncover something that feels true. After all, as Dr. Charles would say, not everything needs to be real to be real.